Hello and welcome to this new video on how to create simple objects with xDesign. Today we will adapt an existing remote control holder we have already done in the past for a similar object with different dimensions. The goal of this video is to show how to change an existing design and why it is important to design using relevant dimensions. If you haven't done it yet, I strongly encourage you to watch previous video on how to create this remote control holder and don't forget to come back here. As you can see here, this remote control is very similar, but does not have exactly the same size than the previous one. So we could think that changing dimensions will be just fine. Let's try! Okay, which dimensions should we change? If I change outside dimension, it will not change the cut and inside size will remain the same. But if I change only inside dimensions, I will have a thickness issue. You may think that I just need to change 2 dimensions. But what about a larger model? You may be in trouble finding all corresponding dimensions and lose a lot of printing time and material in the process. So we need to make sure that important dimensions have the right value and drive the rest of the model. For us, these important dimensions are the size of the remote control we need to hold, of course, size of the other objects we can't change size, like M4 countersink screw heads. Structural values like minimum thickness to keep part strong enough. To begin, I will save this part as a new one, because I don't like changing an actual part I'm sure works and could be printed again. I never know if I will remember the real values, so I prefer relying on xDesign. To make sure everything is designed around those values, I will store them in a sketch, or several sketches for several directions, and other dimensions will depend on those sketches. I could also use this main sketch and make features from areas of this sketch called contours, and this is the solution I will use for this particular video. So with this solution, inside shape is based on remote control size right from the beginning, with some offsets. Actual outside dimensions are not as important as thickness, so we will define thickness from inside dimensions with those offsets. Screw heads are also important, so we can slide the remote control without damage. So we will define an offset value of 3.5 mm because of screw heads. Easy to remember, if a dimension is important, it must be a driving dimension, not the result of others. And as you can see, this was not a difficult task. You just have to choose important dimensions. Now I can change remote control values and update the whole part. Last thing I need to change is how bottom thickness is defined. In last video I said I wanted a 5 mm bottom thickness and I entered only overall height and cup depth. Actual result is a 2 mm thickness. Maybe you noticed that mistake. Of course, this was to prepare this video. Okay, let's move on. So I want the thickness to be the driving dimension. I would define cut depth with offset value from face, not the full depth. And 3 mm is probably a better value. Now part is actually finished. Here I spent some time fixing the part, but designing like this at the beginning would have saved a lot of time. This is what you need to keep in mind. Always define important dimensions when you design. The rest of the process is always the same. Save as an STL file with print 3D feature. After choosing bottom face, then use this STL file in your 3D printer slicer to create your G-code. This is the list of instructions created by your slicer to print in 3D with your specific 3D printer. Open this G-code on your 3D printer, for me through an SD card, and as always, it is printing time. Now I've got a new part where I can store different remote control. But good news is, if I want to adapt this part to another size of remote control, this time it will take less than 30 seconds to change dimensions without any risk. Of course, it will not decrease printing time drastically. Actually, it would be cool if it did, but it doesn't. If you want more information on how to get xDesign for makers, connect on solidworks.com/makers. Thanks for watching.